The first time I saw you was at the other festival in
Oh yeah,
2021, and you were just were telling everyone that you just become a parent during
yeah,
COVID.
yeah, fully. So was that the one at the Fortitude Music Hall?
It was.
That one?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that was awesome. Yeah, so I would
Yes.
have been fucking very underslept at that point. Have you
Yeah.
got kids or?
I've got two myself. They're a bit older than that, but yeah, I don't miss those days. Oh, bless.
Oh man, oh God, like she's two now. It's like brutal. Oh my God, so crazy. Oh fucking hell. But I mean, you love them and all that, whatever.
It's weird, isn't it? It is simultaneously the most mundane and the most extraordinary thing that a human being can do. Like,
Yeah, yeah. But then it's like the most love you've ever felt, but also the most like fury and frustration you've ever felt as well. Like you're like, "Oh, I love you so much, but oh my God, I could seriously throw you out the window right now."
yeah, that was my Xbox. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, totally. How old are yours?
Mine are now what, 7 and 8. So I've been doing this for
Oh,
a
okay.
little bit, but
Real close to each other too, eh? Just pumped them
yeah,
out.
yeah. No, man, we knocked that straight out, and then we got a vasectomy. I'm like, two, we're done.
Oh, really? I'm tempted after one. Danskis. What was that like? Was it like the vasectomy? Because I'm actually seriously considering no,
Yeah,
no joke. Was that like scary and painful, or was it like pretty
not
easy?
at all. They actually put me under, which was
Ah,
actually kind of rare. Some people you can get it done just
yeah.
right. Yeah, it's fine. You're sore for a few days. Like God, if you sidestep anyway, they start slapping
Oh,
you, and you're like, oh. But,
oh yeah, right.
yeah, no, man, it is a very benign. Yeah,
All right.
very,
I
and
might have to do it. It's just
yeah.
something about the thought of it, eh? Like taking a scalpel to your balls just doesn't sit right.
Well,
But
that's why you let someone else do it, Jack. This is very important.
yeah,
Very important.
yeah, true.
So, wow, I'm
That's
not gonna
awesome.
lie. I did not think I was going to be talking about my balls this early in the interview, but
This,
wow,
yeah, it's pretty quick. It's pretty
we
quick.
go. That was
We
going to be
knew
around
we'd get
20.
there eventually.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Well, I guess you have seen my little review blurb kind of graphic that I put out. I've been cranking the album for the last 2 days. It's absolutely wonderful.
Oh,
Um,
thanks, man.
but
Awesome.
alongside these new tracks are some, kind of thoroughly road tested tracks that you've been playing for a while now. Was it always the
Oh, yeah.
intention when you release them as singles to include them in an album down the line?
Yeah, so I guess probably the simpler way of putting it is that we intended to have the album done a lot quicker. So, so those songs are always going to be on it. We always sort of like um, with the last albums that we did, it was always sort of like you do like three songs at a time, and then the next time you go in the studio, you do another three or four. So we sort of just we took that approach as well, and just sort of like piecing it together. But we didn't expect COVID was a big one. Like that sort of took a lot of the wind out of the sails of the recording, because then during COVID, so Crispy, the guitarist, had a kid just before COVID. I had one sort of during COVID. Crispy's just had a second one as well, which is always a pretty massive sort of like knock the wind out of your sails. We got a new drummer in between as well. That was a big shift. And then also because we're all sort of like grown ups with kids and jobs and stuff, we're good. It's good that we do get together once a week, every week, consistently, like every Tuesday night. Usually,
Hmm.
that'll be our jam night. So when we're recording, that's the night that we record. So we don't book. We just don't have the time to book a studio for a month and just go in and record a whole album. So we record it ourselves, and just chip away at it every Tuesday night. Problem with that is every time a tour comes up, you're rehearsing for the tour, the album goes by the wayside. So yeah, it sounds like a whole bunch of excuses stacking up, but time management is the general one. And I think yeah. So then when we finally rolled around to finishing the album, we were definitely always going to put How We Operate, and Hall of Shame and Drones on the album. We just thought that gap would only be like 3 or 4 years, not 7 years. That's the problem.
Um, I quipped in my first review, having, obviously just seen you in the 42 Valley Music Hall, which is this beautiful space, that you guys would make an absolutely insane wedding band. Like, just a
That could
wedding
be
if
fun,
everyone was
actually.
cool.
Yeah,
Particularly
yeah,
your presence on stage, with the sparkly jacket and I've
yeah.
used the word incorrigible to describe you on more than one occasion.
You're incorrigible.
You're
That's
incorrigible.
excellent.
I'm just like,
That's like
oh
such
God,
a such a stepmom thing to say. Oh, he's incorrigible. About your dad that she's just married, while he tells bad jokes. I
um,
love
well, it's
it.
funny. I mean, I said that thing about the wedding thing, and then I found out that you, in your day job, are an absolutely insanely good wedding photographer. Um,
Thanks, man.
and
That's yeah,
yeah,
that's my bread and butter. I don't wear the sparkly jackets, unfortunately, but
uh,
maybe I should.
cannot
Yeah.
stage the bride; she'll get upset.
Oh no, can you imagine just like making it all about me? It's like show up with a fucking sequin bomber jacket and it'd be hilarious.
What is, as someone who I'm guessing you would have seen hundreds of weddings throughout the years. What
Absolutely.
is some of the weirdest shit you've seen at weddings?
Oh, the weirdest shit. You know what? Funnily enough, like I, I love all of my wedding couples. They're all fantastic, and I love my job. But you'd be surprised how many of them are exactly the same as each other. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And like I do a bunch at the same venues, and it's like, yeah, cookie cutter is not the word because everyone has their own vibe and personality, and
yeah.
speeches are different, all that sort of stuff. But in Australia, because I've shot a couple overseas, shot one in Germany, and I've shot one in Ireland and a few in the UK, and the structure is so much different over there because they have so much more light in summer.
Mhm.
So in Germany, like when we shot it, the sun didn't go down till like 11 p.m., which was fucking insane. And so they got married at like 3, and then we didn't have to do the photos. We just went and they went and partied, and then we went and did photos, and then we went to the party, and then at like 9 o'clock at night we went out for another set of photos, and it was just like so crazy. Whereas here it's just so like you know exactly when everything has to happen because the sun goes down like, and it just goes down absolutely
Yeah.
like that. So yeah, I'm trying to think of anything that's been particularly crazy at a wedding. I mean, the closest that I've come is, um, oh no, I was thinking of when OSAKA Punch accidentally played at a wake. That was a fun one.
Oh, no, 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 no. You don't get to just drop that and walk away. Bill.
Oh, that was one of the worst gig. That was the worst gig of our lives, I think. So we were. This is when we were called the Kidney Thieves, and we rocked up to it was like an alumni room at UQ. A mate of ours booked it, and he's like, "Oh, come and play. It's really cool little venue, and we'll put you in the corner. It'll be great." And we rocked up, and it was like basically a restaurant, and all these sort of old people. It was because it was for staff and alumni. It wasn't like the Red Room or the Red Bar where it's all like young hip people, and so all these people are there, sort of like eating fish and chips, and we're setting up in the corner, and we're like, are we supposed to be here? And there's this massive long table with a reserve sign right in front of where we set up. And we're like, okay, well, we'll just set up and I guess play. And we start, and we're like, we have to be like, okay, we'll just play our funky song, no metal, just the quietest song we've got. And we start playing it basically as quiet as we can. And the bar manager comes up and goes, "Oh, you guys have to be a lot quieter than that. That's too loud. This is like because it's a restaurant." And we're like, it only gets louder from here. This is the quietest that we've got. And so we tried playing like a couple of little songs as quiet as we could, got through about 3 songs. He's like, "Yeah, you guys are gonna have to turn down. Sorry, yeah." And we're like, "All right, we're gonna take a break. I'm gonna go for a walk and we'll reassess and we'll come back." And we went for a walk, blew a big spliff all together, and we were like, what are we gonna do? Like, should we just pack up and leave? And then one of the girlfriends of one of the band members was like, "Why don't you play like a swing jazz version of Electric Jam on Boogie?" And we kind of like we're like, "Oh yeah, how would that go?" Like, do it. Kind of like sang it to each other and click. We're like, "Oh, actually, that would totally work." And then we're like, "Oh, we're like named about 4 or 5 songs because we know the songs so well. All we had to do was like turn the distortion off, play with the swing beat and just play the whole song like that. We're like, oh, cool, we'll just do that. Sweet. Went back in there, and by the time I got back in, the table had filled up with people between 60 and 80 years of age. And there's a set of there's flowers on the table, and there's a picture of an old man on the table. And we're like, what is happening? They're right in front of the stage, like not 5 meters from the stage, like right there. They're the first thing. And we're like, oh my God, what the fuck is this? And then the guy who booked us comes up, he's like, that's Awake. And we're like, why the fuck did you book us for Awake? He's like, I didn't know. And we're like, oh God. So we played Electric Jam, we played Battle Worm, we played Eat Red Carpet, we played just a whole bunch of our hits, but non-distorted and just in swing jazz. And I just put on my crooner voice, and we have the Kidney Thieves written on the front of the drum kit. And we're like, fuck, I hope this guy didn't die of like renal failure or anything like that. And we got through it. And the oldies were enjoying it. They were eating their dinner, they were tapping their toes and enjoying their wake. And then after about 4 songs, we're like, thanks guys, I think we're out of here. And that was like, yeah, it's only up from there, really. I was fucked. Yeah. No, the Kidney Thieves playing it Awake. It's just fucking stupid.
Did you have to change the name because I feel like there was another, yeah, I think
That's exactly
the
what
Queen of the
happened.
Damned soundtrack or something had a group called Kidney Thieves.
That's what it was. Yeah, they were one word, Kidney Thieves.
Mm-hmm.
And they weren't even, they were defunct. They weren't even really a band, but they kept like sending us like they got our MySpace shut down. Then they had our Facebook shut down, and they sent us like a cease and desist letter. And we were kind of just like, yeah, fuck you, like whatever. But then we were about to release an album, and they sent us the cease and desist letter, and we were like, I guess if there's any time to change your name, it's before releasing your debut album. Afterwards is a bit silly. So then we changed it, and then literally they haven't released a single thing since. Like they're still not a band. You're like, are you serious? So yeah, that was a bit shit. I know, and especially because we had that. Did you ever see us when we were the Kidney Thieves? That was a long time ago. So we had this old Kingswood V8 ambulance called the Jambulance, and it was like this old ambulance from the 70s that was canary yellow, black tinted windows, and just the Kidney Thieves written on the side, and nothing, not .com, not the band, nothing, just that. And so many people heard of our band because of that car, just driving around. And like you drive through the valley at night after a gig, and people are just like, what the fuck's that? it was so dope. And then we lost it in the floods, unfortunately, but yeah, that was a shame.
Nice. Mate, the second time I saw you was opening for Sunk Lodo.
Oh yeah.
And
that was fun.
yeah, man, it was a great gig. And well, as we reported recently, it looks like they have changed guitarists.
I heard that. Yeah. Is that Luke? Luke's left the band, or
yeah, Luke is apparently out.
that's a shame. He's a beast on the guitar, man.
He is. So I wonder, who do you reckon they're going to get? Apparently, it's a very good guitarist, and I'm getting everyone. The people are throwing names around, like someone from 12 Foot Ninja, or like.
That's a good call, actually, because they're defunct at the moment, aren't they? So like Rowan from 12 Foot Ninja would be a good call. I'd be fine with literally anyone except our guitarist.
Now, is that because skill, or you just don't want to share him?
I just don't want to share him. We've been through those days of every band member being in like 4 different bands and just trying to like organize tours and stuff's a nightmare. So yeah. Happy to not share anyone.
Mate, one of my far and away my favorite track, well, other than obviously How We Operate, but that I don't really count that because it's been out for a while. But one of my favorite new ones is Too Old for This Shit. It is one of the most relatable tracks I've heard in a while. Man.
Yeah. They say, write what you know.
I know, right? Look, when did you first realise that you were in fact too old for this shit? Was it possibly after the events that inspired Served with Mustard?
That was well after that. It's probably a lot to do with having a kid, I'd say. Or even like part of me's always been a little bit like that. Like when I go to a party, once it hits 10 or 11 o'clock, if the music is still thumping, I will go up to them and be like, "Can we just turn it down a little bit?" You know, I'm like, I'm trying to talk to my mates here. We're not here to like, we're not here to have the cops come around. I'm not here to be searched by the cops. I'm here to hang with my mates. So I'm always that guy who like goes up to the DJ and is like, "Can we just turn it down?" Or if there's nobody there, I'll just go and like just turn it down incrementally a little bit at a time. And somebody will go and turn it up, and I'm just like this little war. And so that literally because of that sort of thing that always happens to me. And then like I went to a festival, I can't remember what it was, Earth Freak Festival, I think it was. And just after like 3 or 4 days of partying, I was just absolutely fucking wrecked. I was just an absolute wreck, and I was like, "Man, I don't think I've got this in me anymore at all." And I do get tinnitus as well. It's all the parts of that song are just like straight from the heart, you know. Like when I was a teenager or even like early 20s, I used to go to the Valley every weekend without fail. Like every Friday, Saturday night, would go out, crank it out, get pissed as, bounce back the next week, straight back into work. And nowadays it's just like I would way rather just watch a movie at home. Like, so yeah, as I'm sure you know well. And I think all of us lost a little bit of that pizzazz during COVID. You know, once we all kind of sat at home and watched entire series of Game of Thrones and all these things, like the gigs still, I don't feel like the festivals don't feel like they've bounced back quite like they did, because people are just like, "Oh, but how good was being at home for 2 years?"
Yeah, it's funny, man. I was speaking to some people, and they still haven't really gone back out to gigs. And I mean, last year was, I compared the live gig scene in 2021 to like trying to start an engine, pull start an engine, and it's just not turning over. It would slow a bit like the other festival and whatnot, but it would never. And then 2022, and it just did not stop the entire year. But some
it's
people
been pumping.
have not made that trek back out, which blows so much good shit on.
Too old for that shit, my friend. That's just the way. It's just the way it is. I'm glad you like that one. That'll because that's I don't know. That's the one that I was sort of most excited about releasing with this album, because it's sort of, especially because of how much work it took to get, you know, the swing band recorded and the arrangement, and you know that one took the longest to do, because organizing, you know, ourselves is hard enough, let alone there's like, I think there's 4 or 5 horn players in there, double bass, you know, there's all sorts of stuff in that section. So that's like a whole song on its own. So that was sort of the song where I'm most like, "Oh, I can't wait for all my mates to hear this one."
This is how I knew I was too old for this shit. Hearing aids. God.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So when you're saying I've got tinnitus, I'm like, oh, bro.
Hashtag relatable.
Yeah. If OSAKA Punch, if money morality was not a barrier, what would OSAKA Punch get on the rider?
Oh, get on the rider. Oh, I mean, I can think of what I would definitely want, but I don't know if you could put it in the writing of an interview. just a sack of cocaine, probably. But let me think of something that you can actually put in.
I thought you were too old for this shit, Jack.
Well, that's why I need it. That's why I need it to get through the night. No, it's funny actually, because like none of us even touch a single. Well, maybe Crispy will drink 1 beer before a show. I don't drink a single thing. I don't touch a single drug before I get on stage. Like, I'm absolutely straight as a nail. Reggie, the bass player, he doesn't drink at all. He doesn't do anything. The drummer, he doesn't really touch anything. So we are like the soberest, you know, like most placid people you can imagine. It's funny because when you see us on stage, so many people just think that I'm like high as a kite. Like, "Oh man, you must have had so much cocaine before that show." And I'm like, "No, that's like 100% pure, unadulterated Jack music." That's like, I don't know. There's just something about like, I want to give the audience like 100% of what I can. And I don't want to miss a note or feel like my vocals are feeling a bit dry or anything like that. So always just like, and similarly, we don't even like really, I can't eat before a show either. Because I go so hard and sweat so much. Like I have vomited at a show before by going too hard. So I've sort of learned to try and like keep my breath a bit more, so and not eat like within 4 hours of playing. So riders like, yeah, we do like our sound guy fixed our rider because we basically were like, whatever, just give us whatever. And he went in and he was like, no, that won't do. So he put in like a seasonal fruit plate, craft beers so that he can drink them, not us, you know, like and room temperature water for me. So I know that's the worst answer in history. But yeah, I guess. Well, what about a football helmet filled with cottage cheese? I'd ask for that just so I can see it.
Yeah. How would you? Well, it'd be upside down, obviously. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Just stick your face in it. That'd be nice. Yeah. Are you coming to the Triffid show?
I most certainly am, if you'll have me.
Awesome. Of course we will. Absolutely. Hells yeah.
No, I
awesome, man. It's not too long away.
So, yeah, man, I'll see you there.
Can't wait, brother. Cannot wait.
All right. Thanks so much for your time today, mate.
Good chatting to you, Tom. Pleasure, man. Take care. I'll see you on the 29th.
You will. See you, mate. Bye.
Yeah. Thanks, brother. See you.